Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. We are back and we are live, and it's not United Daily Live today. It is, of course, the Aftermath Live in the spot of United Daily Live. We'll get a United Daily on later on today. As you know, that is on the channel every single day. But today, this morning, it's the Aftermath Live. And I know we've had loads of content around the game. We, of course, had my review. We had the fan cams where we saw Jay, Joe, Dean, Barry from the Energized Show. Who else did we have on there yesterday? We had a few people on there yesterday. It was an action-packed show. It was a really good one, the fan cams were. And of course, we had my review and the watch-along. So not only that, we're going to have the aftermath the day after a game, as always. The place where we come, we sit down, we have a little chat. After the dust has settled, we have a look at the back pages, have a look at what they're saying, what the managers said, etc., etc., etc. And I think one thing to come out of the game from yesterday, and it's clear, is that Paul Pogba must start in the next game for Manchester United. Paul Pogba must start in the next game for Manchester United. No ifs, buts, or maybes. He must be in the team. And now we're looking at the stats from yesterday. 61% possession for United. 6 of our 12 shots were on target. 6 corners, 18 fouls committed. As for Spurs, 39% of the possession, obviously. 3 out of their 10 shots were on target. They didn't trouble United much. Obviously, one of their shots on target was that shot from Bergwijn, which David De Gea should have saved and didn't. Another one of those, which one that he drew a fantastic save out of from Son. And I can't remember what the other one was because they weren't that great. Were Spurs yesterday, to be totally honest with you. They had 7 corners and they committed 17 fouls as well. So those were the main match stats. But they don't tell the whole story now. The first 10, 15, 20 minutes, Manchester United dominated possession. We dominated the possession. We had most of the ball. We had most of the ball in the final third without really creating anything. We did create a chance for Marcus Rashford. It came from a Bruno Fernandes first time cross. The defender didn't clear it. Marcus Rashford catches it on the sweetest of volleys. The sweetest of volleys. And, you know, almost grabs a goal for Manchester United. It was a fantastic save by Hugo Lloris. It wasn't his final fantastic save of the game either. He drew another great save, keeping out Anthony Martial in the second half. So, we had that chance. Daniel James, had a cross which, if he takes a little bit of the height off it, it goes straight to Marcus Rashford, and he probably puts us up in front. Although Lloris, in the form that he was in, could have kept it out. So we had those few opportunities, nothing clear cut apart from Rashford's, and we looked like the better side. And then Bergwijn, Luke Shaw firstly headers the ball. Now for me, Luke Shaw, okay, you may not find a player with your header, but your positioning has to be bang on. And what he did was he chased it. So he didn't wait to see what happened. He didn't try and read where the ball was going to go. He chased it. So that was the first mistake in this period of play. And then when Bergwijn's got the ball and he's chasing, Fred's trying to get on his heels. Now Harry Maguire sees this and opts not to interact, not to engage with the player, not to make a challenge. Now I feel that was because he saw Fred there. But listen, bruv, you are our captain, you are our leader, you are Slabhead. You've got to clean every single thing out there. Any means necessary. If you injure Fred, that's his own fault. He got in the way. You've got to clear that ball. This is Premier League. It's not, inter-squad friendlies now. It's not West Brom at Old Trafford in a little friendly. It's serious stuff now. And that was the second mistake. He almost allowed Bergwijn the space to come onto him. And by then, Fred making that movement, Maguire not making that movement, Lindelof too late to come across. The space is just there for him to get the shot away. Now, he has all that time and space so he can get in a decent, enough power and enough connection on it. He kept it low. He kept it hard. That's what you want as a striker. It was on target. But David De Gea didn't cover himself in glory at all. He's gone down probably too early. The ball's skimming off the surface, going over him. And he's going to what are you doing, bruv? You could have put your hat on it. You could have put your hat on it. You didn't. And you cost Manchester United a goal. and you cost us 2 points ultimately by the end of it. Now, massive mistake. He did recover. Spurs could have went 2-0 up. Spurs could have went 2-0 up. Son keeps him out. Fantastic save, world class save. But you've already made that mistake now. You know what I mean? And it's like we're chasing the game. And there was a few moments where Spurs on the break, there was a gap appearing because our fullbacks were bombing forward. There was gaps either side of our centre halves, but they never really threatened with it. They never really threatened with it. Jose was scared to proceed to get involved in the game. They knew they commit a few bodies forward, United are going to rip them on the counter attack. We gave them the opportunity to hit us on the counter attack, and they couldn't really do anything with it apart from a mistake. Harry Kane was anonymous throughout the game. Just come back from injury, granted, anonymous. We kept him quiet. Lindelof, who didn't have the greatest of games, didn't win an aerial duel until about the second half, I don't think it was. We still kept Harry Kane quiet. So, whilst it was not a great performance and we made mistakes, it was easy against Spurs. And we should have won. We should have won. I feel like the substitutions maybe could have come in a little bit sooner. Martial didn't have the best of games. Second half he came alive a little bit when the changes were made and stuff like that, but he didn't have the best of games. And then we saw, obviously, like the subs, I felt they could have come sooner. And we saw the impact that Greenwood and Paul Pogba had on the team. Paul Pogba showing why he's our best player, by far. Bruno Fernandes was fantastic again, but Paul Pogba showing why he's our best player, why we need to keep him. And if he doesn't come on, we don't get a point out of that game, in my opinion. We don't get a point out of that game. He changed the whole tide. He swung the whole, the game. And I don't think that happens without Paul Pogba coming on. So, it's a frustrating one. But there's also positives there. You wouldn't have expected us to be frustrated by a 1-1 draw with Spurs, Like, I don't know it's only Tottenham, but they've been ahead of us in the last couple of years. And I looked at them there today. And for all this talk about what Jose would do with this squad and these players and that, we're better than Spurs. Spurs won't finish above us. We need to focus on catching Chelsea. And that's why it's a big, big sucker punch. Because it was something there to be got yesterday. And a massive win would have been great. But on the other hand, we've done well in the last 12 games. We're unbeaten, 8 wins, 4 draws. And you've got to kind of take that into consideration as well. I said before that, we might not have like momentum going into this game. But if you win, you maintain that momentum. If you lose, it's gone. Everything's gone. You're almost starting on a defeat, so you're starting with negative momentum. But this draw kind of just keeps things ticking along. The signs that we need to improve in certain areas. The defence massively, goalkeeper massively. Hopefully with our front line, we've seen Rashford tired towards the end. Martial didn't look sharp, didn't look at it. Could have probably scored. And then you're talking about a different story, but you need more from him. Need more from Daniel James. Maybe you're starting Mason Greenwood, does Igalo. So you're looking around and thinking, yes, there's places we can improve, but ultimately there were a lot of positives as well. Because this wasn't a poor team. This was probably the most difficult game we're going to have in this running, apart from Leicester, who I think are a better side than Spurs and have a better manager as well. And yeah, I just think it's just a missed opportunity, and that's why we're feeling gutted. But overall, it's not that bad, you know what I mean? It's not that bad at all. Let me have a look at some of your comments. It's a quiet one today. I think with us doing so many different lives, the YouTube just eventually stops pushing out notifications to people. Thank you for watching. Make sure you liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. We hit 94 members yesterday, so we're 6 away from that target of 100 members by the end of June. You can help me do that. We've got 10, 11 days. How many days are there in June? We've got 10, 11 days to go to get 6 members. Click join if you can do that right now. Jason says, I've watched every game so far and everyone is struggling with that sharpness. How you doing on Yami? Thank you for joining us. That man Dan says, do you think the 11 selection was wrong in hindsight? Personally, I don't think the logic of don't change the squad because of momentum was right. Everyone was at square one now. I agree, but we've also got to think, I think the most obvious change would have been Greenwood or Pogba. So you'd say probably 2, maybe Luke Shaw, 3 spots that could have been changed. Maybe Lindelof as well, but 3 glaring positions. Now Luke Shaw, I started him in my team, so I can't complain about that. Pogba, maybe, but all the things we hear was he couldn't have done 90 minutes. So I kind of understand bringing him onto the field from the bench, then starting him and taking him off. Let's not forget it's the first game back. There might be a few still lacking match sharpness, says Ross. Aaron Gooden says, Adam, De Gea again. When is he getting dropped? Too many times he's cost us against Everton, Spurs and Palace. We could be third. We could think of the times that he saved us as well. We'd probably be in the Championship, but I do hear you can't rest on what you've done in the past. Otherwise, we'd still have Paul Scholes and Roy Keane in midfield. You have to, look to the future, and it's a question: do we have to start looking to the future? I don't want to go there yet. I'm gonna say, look, it was disappointing. It was a bad performance, but let's try and give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was a little bit of match sharpness, but if you start to see between now and the end of the season that this isn't going away, then there's some big considerations to be had in the summer. There's some big considerations to be had. And I don't mean selling him. I mean definitely bringing someone in to challenge him. That's for sure. Shaw has defensive mistakes in him at all the time, says Zahid. Ryan is ready saying James is not a starter. Hopefully Sancho takes his place when he comes. I think that's clear. We need someone in that position, don't we? We really do need someone in that position. Midfield needs to be Pogba, Bruno, McKola, says Assad. I thought Fred started the game fantastically well, opening 30-40 minutes. I'd say he was probably the better of the two. But I think going forward more long term, it's probably McTominay that would be the more robust midfielder. So I see what you're saying there. Will says Rash looked rusty. Afternoon everyone, by the way. 94J Reedy's in the house. Ming United Ways in the house. Yannick Goddard. Kalichi. Ruvez is in the house. A1 Assad. Blur. Hader. Edward. Thank you all for joining us, guys. Get hitting that like button, get commenting, get sharing, get subscribing. As there's few people in here in the live today, you guys can get your questions in, and it's more likely that I will see your questions, and we will be discussing those. I've also got player ratings coming up a little bit later on in this video, so keep it locked for that. But first, we're going to go to Anish's question, which is Williams or Shaw for Sheffield. Williams was good against them the last game. Yeah, he got a goal, didn't he? And helped us restart our recovery. Seeing as it's a home game, I'd definitely go with Brandon Williams. I felt Luke Shaw again, one of the big complaints on the watch along was that he wasn't committing enough forward. He wasn't getting there. He wasn't attacking them really. He wasn't going for it. And we need to see a lot better from Luke Shaw. Bring Brandon Williams in for the home game, I think. Obviously, you can take him off. Bring Luke Shaw on later on in the game. Help Luke Shaw regain more match fitness. And obviously, Brandon Williams might be lacking a little bit. But get forward at Sheffield United. Get forward at them. And I feel Brandon Williams offers us a lot more going forward than Luke Shaw does, unfortunately. I Am King says we need to bench Lindelof. It was good to see Eric Bailly come in yesterday. And it was good to see Ollie shifted to a back three, didn't he? And he went for it a little bit, put the 2 wing backs on, left the 3 centre halves at the back and thought, let's try and get something out of this game. You could see that with a team that were kind of bossing it at that moment in time or looking the most likely to score. And it was good to see Bailly come on because he got minutes under his belt. Now, will he come in for Lindelof? I hope so, but you can't just blame Lindelof either because Maguire didn't have a great game. Now, the captain's armband will probably keep him in the team, but is that right? I'm not too sure. Would you start Igalo over Martial, says Idant? Probably not yet. Let's see how Martial plays in the next game. He is somebody that needs a few games to get going. As Jay mentioned on the fan cams yesterday, Needs a few games to get going. That's no excuse for the a poor game. He was poor in the first half. It wasn't great at all. So we need to get better out of him. But a lot of it could be match fitness with various players, Maguire included, Lindelof included, and that's probably why there won't be many changes. I do expect Pogba to come in though. It'd be daft for him not to come in. Ikanade says people are being too harsh on De Gea and Maguire for the goal. They were good for the rest of the game. Does the rest of their performance excuse them from that mistake? I'll put that out to you guys. Williams is better going forward. Bailly needs to start alongside Maguire, says Jason. Yeah, I don't know what Lindelof offers that's better than Eric Bailly, to be totally honest. I don't think there's anything that's better than offers anything better than Eric Bailly. Sean says Bailly and Maguire on Wednesday. Zahid says Bailly and Harry with one of them. Ruvez disagrees with Nicanade. He says that was horrible by both, especially Maguire. I'm afraid Martial might not be the one for Ollie's Caribbean Gaming. I disagree, but that's a fair. If you want to have that opinion, that's fine. I'm gonna read out your comments whether I agree with them or not. And Caribbean, thank you for tuning in again, brother. Appreciate your support on the channel. Shuaib says it was unlucky. As soon as Spurs scored, they went defensive. We had chances, but I think it was match sharpness the main reason, says Shuaib. Greenwood is ready to play. His hold-up play is better than Martial, says Two Tiers. I kind of feel like we're rushing to judge the players after one game, says Onyemi. Fred wasn't bad, says Jason. Lindelof looked to have a knock, so I think Bailly will play on Wednesday, says 94J Reedy. Let us know if there's any other changes you'd make to that team for the game against Sheffield United. We'll obviously have the preview coming up this week as well for the Sheffield United game. We'll get that out. What day is the game? Wednesday? We'll get that out on Monday. Loads coming up then, because on Monday you got the Gazette, you've got the preview, United Daily, Tuesday, United Daily, Rumour Rater, Wednesday, Match Day Live, Watch Along. We've got my reaction to the game, hopefully a win, and then we've got obviously the fan cams as well. So loads is coming up for you guys in the next couple of days. We've had loads going on as well, loads of views, loads of new subs. Loads of members that have been joining. We're 6 away from 100, so get clicking that join button if you can. We're going to now move on to the player ratings. So let me open up my player ratings, which is here. That's done. Right, as you can see, these are my player ratings. Now what I want you to do in this part of the show is get your player ratings in. So get as many of your ratings in as you can. I'll try and read as many out as I possibly can, and we'll go through mine and compare them to yours. You can let me know what you're thinking about mine, so on and so forth. But this is the period of the show where we take a look at the players' ratings. And so, David De Gea, I have gone for a 4. I believe David De Gea made a world-class save which kept us in it and kept it at 1-0. He made another good save in the second half, but the mistake was massive and it cost us. And he has to get a 4 out of 10 in my opinion. That's probably being kind to him. I don't know, but I'd give him a 4. Aaron Wan-Bissaka a 6. I felt defensively he wasn't too bad at all. Going forward he wasn't great. Now you're a defender and you're in the team for your defensive ability. So for that you get above average rating I think, but he wasn't amazing. We needed more from him in the final third. Hopefully with a little bit of sharpness that comes to the forefront. Maguire 5, Lindelof 5. Again, we've got to be careful not to go overboard. They made a mistake. Their ratings have suffered for it. But at the same time, it's their first game back. And they did more good than bad in the game. It's just that the bad was very bad. And it fucking cost us. JBU says De Gea 4. Ali Abdul Razak says De Gea 4. Sean says De Gea 3. Ross says Dave 4. Maguire Lindelof 4 says Sean. Maguire 3 says United Way. Okay. I thought Fred and McTominay were at least a 6. Pogba is a better player than both. Yeah, Fred's rating probably should have been higher because he was better than Maguire, Lindelof and Shaw. And McTominay probably should have got a 6. That's probably unfair on my behalf. Fred and McTominay, yeah, probably too low on that one. Bruno 7, Rashford a 6, Martial a 5, and James a 5. Didn't think they were good enough at all. Pogba came on and got 7. Was fantastic. Was involved in the penalty, obviously, and then nearly involved in the second move, which almost won a penalty for us. If we had 10 minutes more of Pogba, we win the game, in my opinion. Greenwood 6, probably could have given him a 7. He was probably better than Wan-Bissaka, but again, it's quite a short time on the pitch, and can't be just dealing them out like that. Igalo 5, Matic 5, Bailly 5. I wasn't actually, unimpressed by any of them. They just didn't have enough time. I thought Matic did well when he came on, and he's looked a lot better since he's been fresher. But I felt, can't really go too high on their ratings. I couldn't justify giving Greenwood a 7. I couldn't justify giving Pogba an 8. So I couldn't justify giving, Igalo, Matic and Bailly what Greenwood was on. But then I probably should have given Fred and McTominay a better rating than I did, either 5.5 or a 6. So yeah, I've immediately disagreed with myself upon seeing those. I did do these ratings last night, straight after the game, so I was still in a bit of a mood. My man of the match is Paul Pogba. Let us know what you think. Two Tiers says Greenwood's technique is solid, he's ready to play. What is the rating for Ollie? I give him an 8. I said 6. Got a good result. I felt the substitutions were the right ones. They could have come a little bit earlier. You can't give him 5 or a 4. But, there you go. James a 5. Come on, Adam. He completed less than 5 passes. His pyramid scheme. I didn't think he was as bad as De Gea. That's why. And I know he gave the ball away a few times, but he did work hard in trying to get it back. I'm not excusing him. I think we need to improve on the right. I just think, we drew 1-1 with Spurs. It's easy to go overboard. It's easy to go over the top. We played a decent opposition against a manager that was never going to come out and try and attack us at all. So let's not be silly. Ali says man of the match was Bruno. Sean says man of the match was Bruno. And he gives Ali a rating of 6. JBU gives Ali a 5 and he thinks it's a 5 out of 10 performance. We could have been a lot better. But on the day, Martial's chance goes in, Rashford's chance goes in, we win, and it's, we're saying, it's a 7 or an 8 out of 10 performance, and we're back and everything's looking rosy again. So we've got to be careful not to get overboard with the criticism or overboard with the praise. But overall, after the dust has settled, I'm feeling a little better about things. We could go 5 points behind Chelsea, but they've got some very difficult games coming up. When we look at their fixtures, let's have a look now. Chelsea's fixtures are this. So Chelsea's fixtures, starting with Aston Villa, which is tomorrow, away from home. They've then got Man City at Stamford Bridge. Then they've got Leicester in the Cup. Obviously, ignore that because it's in the Cup. Then they've got West Ham away, Watford at home, Palace away, Sheffield United away, Norwich at home, Liverpool away, and Wolves at home. So their last 2 games are Liverpool and Wolves. They've got Man City soon. They've got, Sheffield United, who's a difficult game. And then they've even got the likes of Palace and West Ham, which are London derbies, Watford, which is a London derby. So there's a possibility there for them to drop points. But then when you look at United's fixtures, we look at Manchester United's fixtures now. Sheffield United at home, difficult game. Norwich away in the Cup. Brighton away. Bournemouth at home. Aston Villa away. Southampton at home. Palace away. West Ham at home. Leicester away. So up until Leicester, and probably, Sheffield United and Leicester are probably the most 2 difficult games. In between them, we should have no excuses for not winning those games. So you got to be expecting at least 20 points from Manchester United. If we can get 20 points That takes us to 66 points. That means Chelsea need to win at least 6 of their remaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. And I don't think they would do that, to be honest with you. So, you know, we still got a big opportunity of getting top 4. It's just annoying that we've given Chelsea more of an opportunity than they probably deserve. Guys, get hitting that like button, get commenting, get sharing, get subscribing, get joining if you can. As I said, we are now 6 away from 100 members on AdamMcKola TV. You can join the Discord, you can get exclusive content, you can, you know, get emojis and stuff, extra features on the YouTube channel, helping support the growth of the channel as well, as we continue to do more and build more for the future on AdamMcKola TV. Got plenty more coming your way as well, and there's some big news coming up in the future too, which I can't wait to let you guys know about. But right now we've just got to chill a little bit, so we'll let you know very, very soon. Chad, how you doing, mate? Hope you're doing well. Keegan says, true, the weaknesses in the squad were so obvious to see. We're so close to challenging again, says Keegan. Kind of reminds me of when Liverpool, you know, when they needed Van Dijk and Alisson, you just knew once they got those 2 players, they'd be challenging for the big trophies. And, you know, you kind of feel the same with United. I think we need more than just 2 players. We probably need 3 or 4, but you kind of know where those players are in the squad. Right wingers definite, centre backs definite, midfield definite in terms of defensively. But we've also got players there that we could build up and push through. So I'm feeling quietly confident about the direction United are heading in, the foundations for success that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is building. Even though I'm not 100% sure Ole would maybe win a Premier League or a Champions League, I'm hoping he does. I want him to. He's got my full support and he deserves time. But regardless of my feelings about that, I know he's doing the right thing for United going forward. I looked at Spurs yesterday and I pitied them. I'm glad we haven't got Jose Mourinho anymore. And for whatever criticism you want to label at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, lack of experience, lack of, you know, trophies, and Jose's obviously got them in abundance. He'll go down as a managerial great, Jose Mourinho will. But he's not currently a managerial great. And I'm not saying Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is, but I like what he's doing more right now than what Jose's doing at Spurs. And I didn't feel any envy. There was a period of time where we envied Spurs a little bit for how they were, you know, conducting their business, for how they were bringing through players, for how they were performing and pushing on and looking like they were progressing. We envied them. And that's changed a lot. And the fact that we went to Spurs and we drew and we come away feeling like we lost and we should have won and, fuck's sake, this, that and the other, I think is a testament to how far Ole has brought us in a short time and Jose has taken Spurs backwards in a short time. But mainly Ole, because yes, our position hasn't changed much. We're still 5th. And that needs to improve. And if it doesn't improve next season, Ole will probably be gone, and rightly so. But just look at the team. Look at the fans, how we feel about that team. You know, look at the players on the pitch, the way we're approaching games. Yes, Ole could have got certain things right and done certain things better, but we're approaching the game in the grand scheme of things a lot better. And that's good to see. Jose is no longer elite. Paris is saying Mourinho is still elite, mate. He's not. If Mourinho was still elite, he wouldn't be at Spurs. Simple as that. If Mourinho was still elite, he wouldn't be at Spurs. He wouldn't go. If Mourinho was still elite, PSG would have gone in for him. Real Madrid would have gone in for him again. Juventus, Inter. These teams would have been there for him. And let's not pretend, he wouldn't go to Juve because of Inter. Bollocks. Bollocks. He went to United and Spurs after Chelsea. No one he never gave a fuck about Chelsea. Like, he's finished, bruv. He's no longer elite. And that you can tell that by the fact he's at Spurs. He may win a cup for Spurs, but he's not going to win one of the big ones. And you look at Spurs now, there's no League Cup next season if you're in Europe. That's probably another trophy down for them. So they're getting knocked out of the FA Cup. They're fucked. That thing's going one way and one way only, and that's downhill. We'll keep this running for another 5 minutes if you wish. Here on AdamMcKola TV, this is the Aftermath Live. Get hitting that like button. We've almost got 300 people watching at the minute. Get hitting that like button, comment, share, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts on everything we have discussed. The player ratings, which are right there as well. Let us know what you think about that. Ollie needs time, says Mega Sean. Keegan, oh yeah, Bayern Munich as well. I believe we will win the league in the next couple of years after a few more signings. I have faith, says Jason. You don't get sacked 3 times if you're elite, says Blair. Nice one, Ali. He went to Madrid but started as a Barca youth coach. There you go. Well, he started as a Barca translator, didn't he? If Mourinho won yesterday, it would have been a typical masterclass, says Ross. He wasn't on it. It was never on it. He didn't want it with Oli. You know, in his head, he feels like he's superior than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he tried to make some sort of excuse for the fact that he didn't attack us, for the fact that he didn't try and win the game. In his head, he would have tried to make some sort of excuse for that. Oh, I've got injuries. Oh, I haven't got Dele Alli. Oh, fuck off. Sean says, quietly confident for the rest of the season. Guys, thank you for tuning in today. It's been an absolute pleasure spending time with you all on here, the Aftermath Live. Remember, we will be back with much more content over the next few days and weeks. Loads building up to the next game as well, which is, of course, Manchester United, Sheffield United. And we're back at Old Trafford, except I'm not back at Old Trafford and I won't be at Old Trafford because we'll be watching behind closed doors at home. And I'll be watching with you on the watch along here on AdamMcKola TV. So make sure you're keeping it locked. Make sure you're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, getting involved. And thank you for tuning in today to AdamMcKola TV, to the Aftermath Live, and to all the content that we have had on in the last 12 hours. We've had so much going up. If you missed the review, the fan cams, go and check them out. And if you want to see me losing my head on the watch along, feel free to do that as well. For now, I've been AdamMcKola. You lot have been legends. I'm out of here.